Most High God of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. And peace to everyone joining us on this program. This is the Founding Israel Bible Studies program. Peace and shalom. Now, today's lesson, we had to come up with a few different ideas for this lesson because we wanted to make a particular point. And I have to really credit Sister Tasha on this particular lesson. Now, it is really about the decisions that we make. It's about the scheming, that sometimes we get ourselves caught up into. And sometimes we may want something, but it's not really what you want. Now, we could have titled it, "Oh, you're barking up the wrong tree." We could have titled it that. We could have titled it, "This ain't what you want." We could have titled it a number of different things to make the point. But we finally settled on tread lightly so that it will cover each point we are making in here. Because we can get ourselves in situations that we wish we could take back. We can get ourselves in a situation where we're plotting and we're scheming and we're heading a certain way and we actually think we will have the desired outcome. And lo and behold, it's something else. So with that, we say tread lightly. We're going to start this teaching off in 1 Kings. 1 Kings. We'll pick it up at 1 Kings 1. And we will begin at verse 1. And we're going to look at this. This is when, King David had more than one son. And two in particular is Adonijah and also Solomon. Now, King David had to have a successor to the throne. And we all know that it is Solomon, or it was Solomon. But Adonijah had different plans. Let's look at this over in 1 Kings 1, in verse 1. 1 Kings 1, verse 1. And when you get there, brother, let the Bible speak.
Now King David was old and advanced in years, and they put covers on him. But he could not get warm.
Okay.
Therefore his servant said to him, "Let a young woman, a virgin, be sought for our lord the king, and let her stand before the king, and let her care for him, and let her lie in your bosom, that our lord the king may be warm."
So he was old and he just could not get warm. Okay, he was always cold. So he just they had a young maiden lay with him so that she can lend him her body heat. Go ahead.
So they sought for a lovely woman throughout the whole territory of Israel, and found Abishag and Shunammite.
Okay, Abishag the Shunammite. Go ahead.
And brought her to the king. The young woman was very lovely, and she cared for the king and served him. But the king did not know her.
That means they did not have sexual relations. Okay, now she did belong to the king, but they didn't. That her job. There were he had wives for that, but for her, she was just to care for him and to keep him warm and make him comfortable. That was her job. Go ahead, verse 5.
Then Adonijah, the son of Haggith, exalted himself, saying, "I will be king."
Okay, so there you go. So now this is Adonijah. He said, "Okay, well, hey, my dad's old. I'm going to be the next king." Besides, he was the older brother to Solomon. Go ahead.
And he prepared for himself chariots and horsemen, and 50 men to run before him.
Okay, so he's about to make a big hullabaloo. He's about to make a big, grand announcement. I will be king, and celebrate the matter. Go ahead.
And his father had not rebuked him at any time by saying, "Why have you done so?"
Okay, so David hadn't said anything yet, so he kept going. Go ahead.
He was also very good looking.
He's a good looking young man. Go ahead.
His mother had borne him after Absalom.
Okay, go ahead.
Then he conferred with Joab, the son of Zeruiah, and Abiathar the priest. And they followed and helped Adonijah. But Zadok the priest of Benaniah, the son of Jehoiada, Nathan the prophet, Shimei, Ray, and the mighty men who belonged to David were not with Adonijah.
See, these are the ones, they didn't follow him. They did not go with Adonijah. They were not in league with him. Zadok the priest, Benaniah, son of Jehoiada, Nathan the prophet, Shimei, Rai, and the mighty men who belonged to David were not with Adonijah. So they're like, no, something smells fishy. Verse 9, go ahead. And Adonijah what?
And Adonijah sacrificed sheep and oxen and fattened cattle by the stone of Zoheleth.
Okay, Zoheleth,
which is by En Rogel.
Okay.
And also invited all his brothers, the kings and sons, and all the men of Judah, and the king's servants.
Okay, so they start inviting everybody. They're putting this celebration, this ceremony together. That's what's happening. Verse 10.
But he did not invite Nathan the prophet, Benaiah and the mighty men, or Solomon his brother.
Okay, I wonder why. I wonder why. He didn't invite these folks because they knew he was not to succeed King David. Verse 11.
So Nathan spoke to Bathsheba, the mother of Solomon, saying, Have you not heard that Adoniah the son of Haggith has become king? And David our Lord does not know it? Come please, let him now give you advice, that you may serve your own life and the life of your son Solomon.
Okay, now look, let me give you a little bit of advice so I can help you out. And it's going to benefit you and this will benefit Solomon. Okay, now listen up. What did he say? Do what?
Go immediately to King David and say to him, Did you not, my lord, O king, swear to your maidservant, saying, Assuredly your son Solomon shall reign after me, and he shall sit on my throne.
Okay.
Why then has Adoniah become king?
Okay, now Bathsheba, she went over to her husband, she went to King David, and she said, okay, hold on, let me get something straight, king. Didn't you promise that Solomon would reign after you? Isn't that what you told us? And if that is so, then why is Adonijah king? What's going on here? And then what?
Sorry, that's my place.
14. Then.
Okay, I'm getting there. Give me 1 second.
And so she just wanted to know what was going on there. Or surely your son Solomon shall reign after you, and he shall sit on my throne. She's basically quoting him, like, didn't you say this thing? Then why then has Adonijah become king? Verse 14.
Then while you are still talking there with the king, I also will come after you and confirm your words.
Okay, so you just pretty much putting the words back, putting them back to him. Skip down to verse 22. 22, go ahead.
And just then, while she was still talking with the king, Nathan the prophet also came in.
Okay, so Nathan came in. Go ahead.
So they told the king, saying, Here's Nathan the prophet.
Okay.
And when he came in before the king, he bowed down before the king with his face to the ground. And Nathan said, My lord, O king, have you said, Adonijah shall reign after me, and he shall sit on my throne?
Okay, so he was just checking his words. Of course, Nathan already knows the answer, but he has to bring that before King David and just check to say, okay, now did you say that Adonijah was going to be the king? Because I didn't get that memo. So if Adonijah's supposed to be king, just letting you know what's going on right now. He said, Nathan said, My lord, O king, have you said Adonijah shall reign after me, and he shall sit on my throne? Question mark. Go ahead.
For he has gone down today and has sacrificed oxen and fattened cattle and sheep in abundance, and has invited all the king's sons and the commanders of the army and the Abiathar the priest, and look, they are eating and drinking before him, and they say, Long live King Adonijah.
All right, so they are exalting this guy, King David. I'm just letting you know what's going on. He prepared this big feast with sheep and oxen, and everyone's celebrating and yelling, and they're talking about long live King Adonijah. Are you aware of this? And he said 26.
But he has not invited me, me, your servant, nor Zadok the priest, nor Benaiah the son of Jehoiada, nor your servant Solomon.
Okay, so everybody's there, but there's certain people who were not invited. He's just letting him know the people who were not invited. 27.
Has this thing been done by my lord the king? And have you not told your servant who should sit on the throne of my lord the king after him?
See, that's what he's saying. He's like, well, we didn't get that memo. I mean, if you told them, not us, I mean, what's going on, basically. Verse 28, okay? Now, David's going to go ahead and make a proclamation. Go ahead, 28.
Then King David answered and said, Call Bathsheba to me. So she came into the king's presence and stood before the king. And the king took an oath and said, As the Lord lives, who has redeemed my life from every distress, just as I swore to you by the Lord God of Israel, saying, Assuredly Solomon your son shall be king after me, and he shall sit on my throne in my place. So I certainly will do this day.
And he said, No, I'm going to keep my word. The Lord said Solomon will come after me, will reign after me. That's what I'm going to do. That's what I intend to do. A lot of people say, I swear. He's most assuredly that's what's going to happen. Okay? That's what's going to happen. This has been said. I said this to you before. I'm saying it to you right. Matter of fact, I'm proclaiming it right now. Solomon will be king. he will be king. Verse 39, brother.
Then Zadok the priest took a horn of oil from the tabernacle and anointed Solomon.
And they official. Go ahead.
And they blew the horn. And all the people said, "Long live King Solomon."
Okay, now this is the proclamation. Now they letting everybody know Solomon is the king. Let you guys know. Solomon is the king. Long live King Solomon. Go ahead.
And all the people went up after him. And the people played the flutes and rejoiced with great joy, so that the earth seemed to split with their sound.
That's how loud it was. I don't want you to miss this. That's how loud it was. Okay, I don't want you to miss it. So, and all the people went up after him, and the people played the flutes and rejoiced with great joy, so that the earth seemed to split with their sound. Now let's see how loud that was. Verse 41, brother.
Now Adonijah and all the guests were with him heard it as they finished eating. And when Joab heard the sound of the horn, he said, "Why is the city in such a noisy uproar?" While he was still speaking, there came Jonathan, the son of Abiathar, the priest. And Adonijah said to him, "Come in, for you are a prominent man, and bring good news."
Okay, you're an important guy. You're prominent. You're well respected. Come on in. You know, you have some good news for me. What do you got? What news you have for me?
Then Jonathan answered and said, "Adonijah, no, our Lord King David has made Solomon king."
Yeah, he said. Adonijah was like, "What's the good news?" And he said, "Well, King Adonijah, King David has made Solomon the king." Let's see how they respond to that.
The king has sent Zadok the priest, Nathan the prophet. The king has sent with Zadok the priest, Nathan the prophet, Benaiah the son of Jehoiada, and Shariites, and the Pelethites, and they have made them ride on the king's mule.
Okay, so he's basically saying they made this official. This is official. So Zadok, what?
So Zadok the priest and Nathan the prophet have anointed him king at Gihon, and they have gone up from there rejoicing, so that the city is in an uproar.
They are happy. They're celebrating. It is. We got a new king. Everything's good and smooth. Go ahead.
This is the noise that you have heard.
This is what you heard in the kingdom. See, they were on the other side. Adonijah wanted to throw this big party. He was right outside the kingdom, right down the road a bit. And they were, merrymaking and eating and drinking and celebrating. And Adonijah, yay. And they heard out of the kingdom when everyone was celebrating Solomon's coronation. They heard it and they were like, "Well, what is that?" So when they came to Adonijah said, "Hey, you're a respected man. Come in and tell me the good news. What's going on?" And he said, "Well, Solomon has been made king." Okay, so he was telling them they were really making it official. So Zadok the priest and Nathan the prophet have anointed him king of Gihon, and they have gone up from there rejoicing, so that the city is in an uproar. This is the noise that you have heard. Also, go ahead, 46.
Also, Solomon sits on the throne of the kingdom.
So Solomon sits on the throne of the kingdom. Skip down to 49, brother.
So all the guests who were with Adonijah were afraid and arose, and each one went his way.
So when the news came back, when he said, "Okay, Solomon sits on the throne of David," everybody said, "Whoop, that's my cue. I gotta go. I'm out of here. Thanks for the lamb chops. We're out of here. We gotta go." So all of the guests who were with Adonijah were afraid. Yeah, there's a new king in town. And arose and went their own way. They said, "Well, that's my cue. I gotta go. See you later." So 50. Now let's see what else happened. 50.
Now Adonijah was afraid of Solomon, so he rose and went and took hold of the horns of the altar.
Okay, so he was cowardice. Let's look at this. Let's take a look at it. Go ahead.
And it was told Solomon, saying, "Indeed, Adonijah is afraid of King Solomon."
Okay, why's that?
"For look, he has taken hold of the horns of the altar, saying, Let Solomon swear to me today that he will not put his servant to death with the sword."
So, you ever heard of the expression, hold on for your dear life? That's what was going on right there. That's what happened. Adonijah, he held on to the horns of the altar and would not let go. Like, no, I'm not going anywhere. Of course, they wanted him to come on out, come on down, Basically, you're going to have some explaining to do. He's like, no, I'm not coming out until Solomon promised that he will not kill me. Now, you have to promise. but you were big, you were bad, you were the king now, and now all of a sudden, your dad said, no, Solomon is the king, because what? You tried to steal it. You tried to just take it, okay? But no, you went from king to coward in just a few minutes. What is going on? What is going on? Okay, he said, promise me, swear to me today you won't kill me by the sword. Put his servant. Oh, your servant now. You're the king just 2 minutes ago. Okay, no problem. 52. Tread lightly, Adonijah. Tread lightly. 52.
Then Solomon said, if he proved himself a worthy man, not one hair of him shall fall to the earth.
Okay, go ahead.
But if wickedness is found in him, he shall die. So King Solomon sent to bring him down from the altar. And he came and fell down before King Solomon. And Solomon said to him, go to your house.
Man, just go home. Just go home. Go home. He said, now, if you're not wicked, you prove a worthy man, we won't touch you. We won't touch you. So he came off the altar, he let go. He was holding on for dear life, he let go. And he came in there like, Solomon, come. Okay, let me explain. Solomon's like, just go home. Just go home. Go to your house. Okay, let's get this all resolved right quick. He tried to steal the throne. That's what he tried to do. My dad is sick. This is my opportunity. Who's with me? A few people were with them. They went to try to steal the throne. Okay? But it was not promised to him. But let's just see if his attitude changed. Because he said, but if wickedness is found in you, okay? If wickedness is found in him, he shall die. So, tread lightly and you'll be okay. Let's see. 1 Kings 2. And let's pick it up at verse 1, because this is King David on his deathbed, and he's going to give Solomon some instructions. Let's look at that. 1 Kings 2, pick it up in verse 1, let the Bible speak.
Now the days of David drew near, that he should die. And he charged Solomon his son, saying, I go the way of all the earth. Be strong, therefore, and prove yourself a man.
Okay.
And keep charge of the Lord your God, to walk in his ways, to keep his statutes, his commandments, his judgments, and his testimonies, as it is written in the law of Moses.
Okay, so he told him to do all these things that it was written in the law of Moses. And doesn't your Bible say that David was a man after God's own heart? This might give you an idea of why. He charged his son to walk in the way of the Lord your God, to walk in his ways, to keep his statutes, his commandments, his judgments, and his testimonies, as it is written in the law of Moses. So he gave him some good instructions, some solid instructions. Now we know later Solomon didn't quite do that towards the end, but that's not the point of our story. So he gave him some good instructions. Drop down to verse 12, brother.
That you may prosper in all that you do and wherever you turn. And then Solomon sat on the throne of his father David, and his kingdom was firmly established.
Okay, so his kingdom was firmly established. This was definitely all Solomon, just like his dad had all of Israel. Solomon had all Israel. There was no breaking up yet. None of that happened. That didn't happen until after Solomon's reign. So all of Israel was together, and they were under Solomon. Okay, so let's take a look. We just did 12. Go to 13, brother. 13. Let's look at something real quick.
Now Adonijah, the son of Haggith, came to Bathsheba, the mother of Solomon. So she said, do you come peaceably?
Okay, he said, now do you come in peace? And he answered, he said what?
And he said, peaceably.
Okay, go ahead.
Moreover, he said, I have something to say to you.
So he basically said, I want to ask you something. Okay? He said, so she said, Solomon's mother, she said, do you come peaceably? Do you come in peace? And he said, peaceably. Moreover, he said, I have something to say to you. But he really want to ask something, but go ahead.
And she said, say it.
Okay, go ahead.
Then he said, you know that the kingdom was mine.
Okay. And so, hold on. I hope you guys caught that. Adonijah, who was king for about 30 seconds, he goes, you know the kingdom was mine. Is that not the wrong attitude right there? Okay. He goes in there. So he goes to Solomon's mom. Remember, she had to go to King David and said, David, now didn't you promise that Solomon was going to reign in your stead? I mean, if something changed, let us know. Because Adonijah is celebrating and coronating himself. He's making himself king right now. You know, and obviously we just read David got rid of all that. But so here's the attitude. Now, here is Mr. Adonijah. First thing he says to Solomon's Bathsheba, first thing he says to, now you know the kingdom was mine. Okay, he tried to get this established. Okay, go ahead, and what?
And all Israel set their expectations on me, that I should reign.
So everybody thought I was going to be the king. I think just he thought that, but go ahead.
However, the kingdom has been turned over and becomes my brother's.
Okay, it was never yours, Adonijah. It was never yours, but go ahead.
For it was him from the Lord.
Aha, see? And become my brothers, for it was his from the Lord. That's called a clue. That's what that is. Yeah, it was his from the Lord. It was ordained that Solomon would reign after David. Nothing you can do about that, okay? That's the part you should have led with right there. But go ahead. He said, and has become my brothers, for it was his from the Lord. Go ahead.
Now I ask one petition of you. Do not deny me. And she said to him, say it. Then he said, please speak to King Solomon, for he will not refuse you, that he may give me Abishag the Shunammite as wife.
Okay, so he said, please, well, then he said, please speak to King Solomon. Now this is a little brother. Please speak to King Solomon, for he will not refuse you. He won't say no to you. That he may give me Abishag the Shunammite as a wife. Now, let me explain something to you. Now, Bathsheba probably was not thinking about it. I'm not going to say she was not aware, but she's probably not thinking about it. This is not a good thing. Now I'll explain why as we get a little bit further. 18, brother.
So Bathsheba said, very well, I will speak for you to the king.
Okay.
Bathsheba therefore went to King Solomon to speak to him for Adonijah. And the king rose up to meet her and bowed down to her and sat down on his throne and had a throne set for the king's mother. So she sat at his right hand.
Because that's his mother, and he has a lot of respect for her. So being at the right hand of a king, that's big time. Okay, go ahead.
Then she said, I desire one small petition of you. Do not refuse me.
Okay.
And the king said to her, ask it, my mother, for I will not refuse you.
Okay, go ahead.
So she said, let Abishag the Shunammite be given to Adonijah, your brother, as wife. And King Solomon answered and said to his mother, now why do you ask Abishag the Shunammite for Adonijah? Ask for him the kingdom also, for he is my older brother. For him and for Abiathar the priest, and for Joab the son of Zeruiah. Then King Solomon swore by the Lord, saying, may God do so to me, and more also, if Adonijah has not spoken this word against his own life.
Stop. Here's the thing, okay? The reason why Solomon is getting upset, and he says, so, Mom, why are you asking for Abishag, the Shunammite, for him? Why don't you also ask for the whole kingdom? Why don't you ask for Abiathar the priest, for Joab the son of Zeruiah? Why don't you ask for all that too? Because everything from the king gets passed down to the successor. Okay, so what that would do is send a message to the rest of the kingdom that, oh, Adonijah was really supposed to be king because he gets Abishag. It's a message, and it's a slap in the face. Basically, Adonijah is spitting in Solomon's face. That's why Solomon is getting upset. Okay, it's like, whoa, wait a minute. Wait a minute. Now, obviously, a king's wife can't get passed down to the son. Okay, but remember, Abishag did not sleep with David. She kept him warm. She nursed him and all that other stuff. Okay? She could do the same thing with Solomon. Okay? So, no. You don't disrespect. You can't say, okay, well, give me the king's scepter. Give me his throne. Give me. You want all these things that says you are king. So he's trying to take a token of kingship. It's a spit in the face. Nobody asked for that kind of thing. But Adonijah, okay, he wanted to ask. Solomon got upset. Okay, now you know why he got upset. Okay, the King Solomon swore by the Lord, saying, may God do so to me, and more also, if Adonijah has not spoken this word against his own life. So he was just saying, look, if I don't deal with this guy, I promise to God. I know a lot of people say, I swear to, I promise on my life, I'm going to deal with this guy. It's basically what he was just saying. Okay? May God do so to me and more also if Adonijah has not spoken this word against his own life. Go ahead.
Now therefore, as the Lord lives, who has confirmed me and set me on the throne of David, my father, and who has established a house for me, as he promised, Adonijah shall be put to death today.
That was it. That was it. He did not tread lightly, brothers and sisters. He pushed his luck. He's lucky that he let him live in the first place. But no, he had to push it a step further and have the wrong attitude. Well, I was king. You know it was supposed to be mine. But can I at least get the Shunammite one? Slap in the face. 25.
So King Solomon sent by the hand of Benaniah and the son of Jehoiada, and he struck him down and he died.
That was the end of Adonijah. He didn't tread lightly. That's the problem. You got to watch yourself on that. See, he thought he wanted the Shunammite woman, but that's not what you want, player. That's all that means. That is not what you want right there. You thought you did. And speaking of thinking you want a woman, we're going to go to another example of that. We're going to go to Judges 16. We're going to go to Judges 16 to see if you need to be careful of what you want. You need to tread lightly. Judges 16, we're going to pick it up at verse 1, and then we'll jump around a little bit. And we know the story of Samson, but let's take a look at it and dissect it a bit. Shall we? Judges 16, verse 1, or chapter 1, verse 1. Judges 16, verse 1. And let the Bible speak. Go ahead.
Then went Samson to Gaza, and saw there a harlot, and went unto her.
That ought to tell you something right there. So she was a harlot, and went unto her. But, go ahead.
And it came to pass afterward that he loved a woman in the valley of Sorek, whose name was Delilah.
Whose name was Delilah. Okay, that's in verse 4. Verse 5, go ahead.
And the lords of the Philistines came up unto her, and said unto her, entice him, and see wherein his great strength lieth.
Okay, so this is plotting and planning. Okay, they want to know. They've been dealing with, Solomon has been tormenting them and just opening up a can on them. Samson has been tormenting these guys and just opening up a big can of dealing with them. No problem. And they just could not figure it out. We'll send 20 people, we'll send 50 people, we'll send 100 people, and we cannot stop this guy. Okay? We need to find out what is this guy's weakness. So they knew that Delilah caught his eye, caught his affection, and he liked it, so they went to her. They said, okay, I'll tell you what, go ahead and sit. And she was with the enemy. Okay? Alright? Samson was a Nazarite, and Delilah was a Philistine. Okay? So she was with the enemy camp. Okay? And the lords of the Philistine came up unto her, and said unto her, entice him, and see wherein his great strength lieth. Go ahead.
And by what means we may prevail against him.
How can we beat this guy? Go ahead.
That we may bind him to afflict him.
Yeah,
and we will give thee every one of us 1,100 pieces of silver.
That's a lot of silver. They give her 1,100 pieces of silver if you tell us how can we beat this guy. Okay? Now what's interesting is that for one of the things is you're messing with the enemy's woman. And she's there just to entice you, to figure out some secrets and stuff. Now, before we even get into these secrets, I want you to understand. Now, all of us, we think of Solomon, and he's this great strength. This guy, he's beating thousands of them with the jawbone of an ass and just killing people left and right. You ever thought, and they didn't know the secret of his strength. You ever thought maybe he didn't look like a bodybuilder? You ever thought maybe he was a little guy? And it was miraculous that he had this type of strength. Just something to think about. Because think about it. Why would you ask what is the source of his great strength if he looked like one of these 300-pound weightlifters out there? You wouldn't have to ask. You're like, well, that's a big dude. But we didn't have that. Okay? So they were still wondering, how is this guy so strong? Probably because he didn't look very strong. But we know it was by God. But go ahead, verse 6.
And Delilah said to Samson, Tell me, I pray thee, wherein thy great strength lieth, and where thou mightest be bound to afflict thee.
Did you get that? She asked him straight up, How, I pray thee, how are you so strong? She didn't get it. Why are you so strong? And then said what would happen. How are you so strong? Where does your strength lie? Wherewith thou mightest be bound, so we can tie you up and afflict you. So she asked him. And for some reason he humored her. He's playing and toying. You know the saying that we do today, stringing someone along? For a little while, Samson strung her along. Okay? And verse 7, what did he say?
And Samson said unto her, if they bind me with 7 green withs, that they were never dried, then shall I be weak, and be as another man.
Okay. So he said, maybe I'll be weak. Maybe I'll be weak. So he lied to her. He's toying with her, stringing her along, see what happens. Now let's see if she made good on that promise. He said, you know what? If he with 7 green withs and that were never dried, then shall I be weak. I'll be made weak and I'll be just like any other guy. Okay? Go ahead. Verse 8.
Then the lords of the Philistines brought up to her 7 green withs, which had not been dried, and she bound him with them.
Okay, then what?
Now there were men lying in wait, abiding in her in the chamber. And she said unto them, the Philistines be upon thee, Samson. And he brake the withs, and thread of the toe is broken when it toucheth the fire.
Okay.
So his strength was not known.
Okay, so dude is strong. Dude is strong. He took care of them. And then 10, go ahead.
And Delilah said unto Samson, behold, thou hast mocked me and told me lies. Now tell me, I pray thee, where thou mightest be bound.
So I never understood this story because she said, tell me the source of your strength. Tell me how we can bind you up and how we can afflict you. So she told the truth in that point. But first of all, that's just deception, that's just deceitful, that's just wicked right there. So he humored her, told her a lie, said, well, let me see what's going to happen. Told her a lie. The Philistines come in upon him, tried to do that, and of course he breaks the reed and he breaks them too. And then she had the nerve to be upset. You lied to me. You said you loved me. You lied to me. How are we supposed to bind you and afflict you and kill you and torture you? Kind of thing. That never made sense to me. That it's, dude, get a clue. This is the wrong woman for you. Perhaps she's not a good fit if she's trying to get you killed. Okay? Now she must have been really, really good looking for you to put up with that. Really good looking. You had to be 11. Okay, now he said, Delilah said unto Samson, behold, thou hast mocked me and told me lies. Now tell me, I pray thee, wherewith thou mightest be bound. How can we bind you? So she had the nerve to be mad and then ask for the request again. Okay, let's see what happens.
And he said unto her, if they bind me fast with new ropes that never were occupied, then shall I be weak and be as another man.
So he tells her another lie. Delilah, being Delilah, says she's a harlot. I'm not calling her names, the Bible calls her harlot. Being a harlot, Delilah therefore what?
Delilah therefore took new ropes and bound him therewith, and said unto him, the Philistines be upon thee, Samson. And there were
Samson, wake up, the Philistines are here. They're coming to get you. Go ahead.
And there were liars in wait, abiding in the chamber. And he brake them from off his arms like a thread.
Like a thread. He just snapped. That was it. It was done. It was out of here. 13, go ahead.
And Delilah said unto Samson, hitherto thou hast hitherto thou hast mocked me and told me lies. Tell me wherewith thou mightest be bound. And he said unto her, if thou weavest the 7 locks of my head with the web.
Okay, go ahead.
She fastened him with the pin and said unto him, the Philistines be upon thee, Samson. And he awaked out of his sleep and went away in the pin of the beam and with the web. And she said unto him, how canst thou say I love thee when thy heart is not with me?
How can you say you love me and you keep lying to me? Boy, that's some good nagging right there. That's some good nagging. You have enough nerve to be mad at me. You tried to get me killed and you're mad at me because I lied to you. Okay, so this is like the 3rd time going on right now. Go ahead.
Thou hast mocked me these 3 times.
3 times.
And hast not told me wherein my greatest strength lieth.
Okay, still hadn't told me how you're so strong. Go ahead.
And it came to pass when she pressed him daily with her words and urged him, so that his soul was vexed unto death.
That's nagging right there. Every day she kept asking, tell me, tell me, tell me, tell me. See, he had to put up with a lot. She had to be beautiful. She had to be gorgeous for him to just put up with it constantly. Constantly. And it had to be something about her. I won't speculate anymore. There had to be something about her. She did something right for him to put up with that, with someone constantly trying to get you killed every day. And he kept doing it. Okay? He and urged him so that his soul was vexed unto death. Go ahead, 17.
That he told her all in his heart and said unto her, There hath not come a razor upon my head, for I have been a Nazarite unto God from my mother's womb. If I be shaven, then my strength will go from me, and I shall become weak and be like any other man.
Okay, so his Samson's mother told him that when he was young. He said, okay, now look, this is, you can't shave your head. Your head has to grow, and that's the secret of your strength and things like that. So that part was true. So he finally told her. Now see, here's the thing. What I didn't understand was that he knows that she will fulfill her promise in trying to get him killed. So he knew once he told her the truth, something was going to happen. Or was he a little bit arrogant and thinking that the Lord's strength would not leave him? Okay, either way, it got him messed up. Go ahead, 18.
And when Delilah saw that he had told her all in his heart, she sent and called for the lords of the Philistines, saying, Come up this once, for he has showed me all his heart.
Okay, he told me everything. Go ahead.
Then the lords of the Philistines came up unto her and brought money in their hand.
Go ahead.
And she made him sleep upon her knees. And she called for a man. And she caused him to shave off the 7 locks of his head.
Go ahead.
And she began to afflict him. And his strength went from him.
Go ahead.
And she said, The Philistines be upon thee, Samson. And he woke out of his sleep and said, I will go out as the other times before, and will shake myself.
Go ahead.
And he wist not the Lord was departed from him.
Okay, so the Lord's strength left him. That was it. 21.
But the Philistines took him and put out his eyes and brought him down to Gaza and bound him with fetters of brass. He did grind in the prison house.
Okay, now have you ever been in a one-sided relationship? Because apparently Samson cared for her a lot more than she cared for him. Okay, because she took the money, she was out of there. It was gone. 25.
And it came to pass when their hearts were merry that they said, Call for Samson, that he may make us sport.
He's a spectacle. Go ahead.
And they called for Samson out of the prison house, and he made them sport. And they set him between the pillars.
Go ahead.
And Samson said unto the lad, held him by the hand, Suffer me that I may feel the pillars whereupon the house standeth, that I may lean upon them.
Okay, go ahead.
Now the house was full of men and women, and the lords of the Philistines were there. And there upon the roof, about 3,000 men and women that beheld while Samson made sport.
Okay, so he was a spectacle, and they were just making fun of him, and they're just having a good time. He's blind with the blind eyes gouged out and everything. And he said, look, just put me between the 2 pillars. I just want to feel the pillars between my hands. Just put me there, just brace me up right there. So he's braced up there, they're looking at him. Go ahead.
And Samson called unto the Lord and said, O Lord God, remember me. I pray thee, and strengthen me. I pray thee only this once, O God, that I may be at once avenged of the Philistines for my 2 eyes.
I just want to pay him back this one time for my 2 eyes, Lord. Just be with me, just one last time. I want to pay him back. Go ahead, 29.
And Samson took hold of the 2 middle pillars, upon which the house stood, and on it which was borne up, one of the one with his right hand, and the other with his left.
Okay.
And Samson said, Let me die with the Philistines.
So he knew he did wrong. Okay, he knew he let this woman have the secret, the secret, and he just went the other way and dealing with this Philistine woman and everything. He knew that, and he didn't say, "Deliver me out of this," any of that. He just one last time, let me pay him back for this, and my whole job was to kill Philistines. That's why I was born. So let me just do this one last mission for you. Let me just kill them right now. And Samson said, "Let me die with the Philistines." Go ahead.
And he bowed himself with all his might, and the house fell upon the lords, and upon all the people that were therein.
There was. Go ahead.
So the dead which he slew at his death were more than they which they slew in his life.
Okay, so he slew them all, over 3,000 people at one time, because they were all in the Colosseum, and the main support beams were those 2 pillars that he was standing against. He collapsed those because the Lord's strength came back to him. He collapsed those, and everything come tumbling down. Okay, they were not laughing anymore. Moral of the story is he got caught up with the wrong one. You have to tread lightly. He tested it, and he tempted it, and he toyed, and he strung along. Look, if this person, if you're in a situation, or relationship you're not supposed to be in, right there at the early stages, the clues were there. So the clues were there. He had 3 times in the beginning, in the very beginning, Samson was told by Delilah, or asked, hey, look, tell me, how do we bind you that we might afflict you? How do we kill you, basically? How do we kill you? And not only did he go ahead and he tell her a lie, but she followed the lie to test the theory, and it didn't happen. And then she turned around and get mad at him. We didn't read where he got mad at her and say, woman, you're trying to get me killed. We didn't read that. We just read where she got mad every time. Why'd you lie to me? You know, you said this is how you kill you. The conversation doesn't even make sense in a rational person's mind right now. How can you lie to me? You know, I asked you, how are we supposed to kill you, bind you up and afflict you? Same thing. Torture you. And you lied and we couldn't torture you. And eventually he gave in to her for whatever reason. Okay? So, as I was saying, the same thing happens today. Don't force your way into a wrong relationship, because you will reap the rewards of that. Okay? He just wanted to be with her for whatever reason. I'm going to blame it on her beauty. I'm just going to give to you what the Bible gives to us. She was beautiful. She was a harlot. She was beautiful. So he got caught up in that. Okay? He was attached to that. He was struck with that. And whatever that is, that's all he cared about. And he put up with it over and over and over until she nagged him to death. Okay? Every day. How do we kill you? How do we afflict you? How do we afflict you? How do we afflict you? Period. Every day. Okay? And he finally told her. But that's forcing himself into a relationship that was doomed from the start. We can't do that. So we're going to finish this up here. So anyway, 30 again says, and Samson said, let me die with the Philistines. Because he knew he messed up. He knew he messed up. Okay? So let me die with the Philistines. And he bowed himself with all his might. And the house fell upon the lords and upon all the people that were therein. So the dead which he slew at his death were more than they which he slew in his life. Okay? Verse 31, brother.
Then his brethren and all the house of his father came down and took him, and brought him up and buried him between Zorah and Ethtaol, in the burying place of Manoah his father. And he judged Israel 20 years. Okay, so
Samson was Israel's judge for 20 years. Okay? Not to be confused, judges basically, this was before they had any king. This was before King Solomon. They were ruled after. In fact, judges came after Joshua. Joshua the general. After Joshua died, then they start to have judges. Up until Saul. And that's when they were asking Samuel, hey, we want a king like everybody else and all that stuff. So anyway, he judged them for 20 years. So he was like a champion for 20 years. He was killing Philistines and protecting Israel from the enemy, whoever that enemy was. At this particular time, it was pretty much the Philistines. Okay? We have to understand we have to tread lightly. Tread lightly in our ambitions, things we want to do. Like Adonijah, he wanted to assume status. He wanted to assume a position. He wanted to assume power. He wanted to take the throne. That didn't work out very good for him. Okay? We need to tread lightly in these schemes that we try to run. We need to be very, very careful of that. And then Samson, he just looked at what he saw. He saw a woman, he wanted to be with her at all costs, and it cost him everything. We need to be careful in that. We need to tread lightly in that. Now we're going to look at some other things here. Let's go to Acts 19. Acts 19. And we'll pick it up at 11. When we just think we're just big shots, we need to take inventory of ourselves. Acts 19 and verse 11. And when you get there, once again, let's let the Bible speak.
Now God worked unusual miracles by the hands of Paul.
Okay.
So that even handkerchiefs or aprons were brought from his body to the sick, and that the diseases left them and the evil spirits went out of them.
Okay, now I want you guys to notice something. Now God had worked unusual miracles by the hand of Paul the apostle, so that even handkerchiefs or aprons were brought from his body to the sick. So anything, if Paul just touched it, they just wanted a piece of that, you know. Just, did Paul handle that? Okay, let me get that. Okay, great. And it actually worked. They were brought from his body and they brought it to the sick, and the diseases left them, and the evil spirits went out from them, because it was anointed, it was touched by one of God's apostles. Okay? Verse 13, brother.
Then some of the itinerant Jewish exorcists took it upon themselves to call the name of the Lord Jesus over those who had evil spirits.
Okay, so they think they're big shots. Okay, these are itinerant Jewish exorcists. They thought they were big shots. Okay, you see these on TV now. They call down holy fire and everything, and leave this person, and they swing their jacket at you, and they shake sticks at you, and they try to lay you down, and people catch you, and people froth at the mouth. It's the same type of people. You see them today. They were back then too. And some of the itinerant Jewish exorcists took them upon themselves to call the name of the Lord Jesus over those who had evil spirits, saying what?
We exorcise you by the Jesus whom Paul preaches.
Now look at that. Where's the relationship? Okay, so they just go ahead and took it upon themselves. Don't miss that. They took it upon themselves to call on the name of Jesus. God didn't call them. Remember that. God didn't call them, okay? Jesus called the apostles, okay? He called Paul on the road to Damascus, okay? He didn't call these guys, okay? He did not call these guys, but they took it upon themselves. Sound like something Adonijah did. He just take it upon himself. He took it upon themselves to call on the name Lord Jesus over those who had evil spirits, saying, we exorcise you by the Jesus who Paul preaches. Understand that there's like a disconnect there. Well, it's like me right now. I believe in the Lord God of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob or something. Okay? But if I'm seeing something fantastic happen in another religion, and I said, you know, I exercise you by that Buddha guy people talk about. Leave him. That's pretty much the same thing. We exercise you by Jesus whom Paul preaches. Okay? Like the demons, they're supposed to understand that. Okay? I don't know him personally, but that guy, just lead by the name of that guy. Jesus, yeah, him. Go ahead, 14.
Also,
Go ahead.
there were 7 sons of Sceva,
okay,
a Jewish chief priest, who did so.
Okay, they did this. The 7 sons. Okay. Now, the Lord's anointed or recognized. Okay? The Lord's anointed, whom God sent, the enemy recognizes. Okay? Let's see this. 15, brother. 15.
And the evil spirit answered and said, Jesus, I know.
Okay, say it again. Jesus what?
Jesus, I know.
What else?
Paul, I know. But who are you?
Okay. So when the Lord puts on a hedge of protection and the Lord is with you, the enemy knows. So even the devil, okay, because if the Lord didn't want you to be bothered, don't want you to be touched, you are protected. You don't have to worry about it. They can't do anything unless the Lord removes it. Just like when Satan went up to God and they were talking about Job, and there were certain things that God allowed and there were certain things He didn't. Okay, yeah, you can make them sick, but you can't kill them. You know, that type of thing. So they recognize certain things. They recognize. And so they're looking around these guys, these 7 sons of Sceva, and the Jewish high priest, chief priest, and all that. And they go, okay, well, all right, I don't see anybody else. Okay, Jesus I know. Paul I know. But who are you? Now it's dangerous. Tread lightly. You can't call yourself a person of God, okay, if you don't really have that protection. If you don't really have Him behind you, and you're in trouble. You are in trouble when you really don't have that power working behind you. Be careful. Tread lightly. Let's see what happened to these guys. And the evil spirits answered and said, Jesus I know, and Paul I know. But who are you? Verse 16, brother.
Then the man in whom the evil spirit was leaped on them.
Leapt on them and did what?
Overpowered them.
And what?
And prevailed against them.
That means they got a beat down. Go ahead.
So that they fled out of the house naked and wounded.
Now that's a beat down. If you getting beat so bad, you got beat out of your clothes and you go running out of the streets naked and wounded, and you don't care, you just had to get out of there. So they got beat, naked and wounded, and then what?
This became known both to all the Jews and Greeks dwelling in Ephesus.
And Ephesus.
And
I'm sorry. There was a legendary beatdown. That's what happened. There was a legendary beatdown. Everybody found out about this beatdown. This became known
the whole city.
both to all Jews and Greeks dwelling in Ephesus. And what happened?
And fear fell on them all. And the name of the Lord Jesus was magnified.
Yeah, so the next time you call on the Lord, you better make sure He's really with you. You better make sure He's really with you. Because if He's not with you, guess what? The enemy knows He's not with you. They don't see anything around you that's protecting you. Anything, the word didn't come down from God and said, don't mess with this guy. So, tread lightly. That's what this is about, brothers and sisters. You get beat down, so you get beat out of your clothes. You get beat that bad, and all because you think the Lord is with you. You think that the Lord is with you. Tread lightly. That's what this is about. Tread lightly. Join us for the second part of this. We're not done. We got a little bit more we need to deal with, where we're going to pick it up in the second part of this lesson. Tread lightly. It'll be part 2, and we're going to pick it up at Esther 3. For some of you who are watching on YouTube, you can go to it immediately. And for some of you who are watching on television, we'll see you next week for part 2 of Tread Lightly. Part 2 of Tread Lightly. And as always, until next time, we want you to search the scriptures and prove all